For the first time ever, I listened to a woman preach a sermon at a church. And honestly, it was awesome. I personally take a more complementarian stance, even though the church that I go to takes a more egalitarian stance. But the woman who was preaching has a communications degree and a biblical studies degree, and you can tell both of those very much lent to the delivery and the content of the sermon. Regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, I think it's really important to remember that we judge the sermon based on its content and delivery. And the biblical content of the sermon was really good. That isn't to say you can hash out everything in a 20-minute sermon, especially on the topic that was being discussed. But given that limited amount of time, it was a really good discussion of the topic. I talked with her afterwards because I wanted to ask a clarifying question regarding the topic that was being preached on, but just also wanted to say thank you and I'm sorry, because my side of this theological camp tends to be very disrespectful, and I really don't think we should be doing that in the body of Christ. One of the questions that she had asked me was, how did it feel aside from content and delivery? And to be honest, that's what I was mainly focusing on. There was a lot to chew on in the sermon, but it didn't feel bad or anything. But I guess part of it too is that there isn't really anything that was said in the sermon that could not have been said by a guy or would be disagreed with by a male, which was also interesting because I've heard people who want to support the case for having women pastors that it does bring a new experience and a new perspective. And I'm sure in some cases it absolutely does. Again, this was just a first-time experience for me. But this was just a sermon with good theology and good communication, and that's something that should be brought by the Christian irrespective of gender. All that said though, I am totally down for having these new church experiences that I maybe would disagree with or would just have never had participated in. Eventually I want to go to and document my experience in a Roman Catholic church, in an Eastern Orthodox church. Those have been bucket list items for me because I tend to be more ecumenical in my approach to those denominations, and so I disagree with them theologically and in practice and so on, but I consider them to be true Christian churches. And the only thing I've ever been in my whole life is Protestant churches, so it would be really nice to have that experience. That said though, let me know your thoughts on all of this. Make sure to comment down below what you are thinking and follow me for more content like this.